Go. That. And well, hello everyone out there in the internet, fans of our little organizations here at the Corning Community Post Historical Society. Thank you for tuning in. This is hopefully the first of one of many weekly video blogs, I guess you'd call it, I'm going to try and do for the Historical Society. Hopefully pointing out interesting things happening in the coming week, anything I find interesting, this day in local history, that sort of thing. Hopefully my voice isn't too annoying. I don't particularly like the sound of my own voice recorded, but hopefully, again, I provide you with some interesting information, upcoming events. From time to time I'll have things like my item of the day, and right, let's get right into this. I'm going to treat this more or less like a daily, I guess you'd call it a news from the historical village, news from the historical society, and we will start with a few bulletins. Coming up in the next week on February 9th, we have the Food and Migration with Michael Twitty. It's a hearth cooking workshop, early African American kitchen. It's going to be happening here starting at 3 p.m. again February 9th. There are still openings. It's $10 to pre-registration required. Again, limited availability. So if you can just give us a call at 937-5281, area code 607. Give us a heads up. There are still some spaces open if you are interested in hearing about local African American history and like myself find culinary history quite interesting. This is an event not to miss. I highly encourage people check this out. As far as things coming up in the future, we have something recently our director has been quite fond of is her planned bus trips. We have one coming up May 20th to the 22nd. It's going to be a trip to Delaware. There's going to be stops at the Brandywine River Art Museum, Green Bank Mills, Phillips Farms. Places you'll be staying are places like the Reed House, the Buckley's Tavern for wonderful dinners, historical places, the Hotel DuPont, the Hagley Museum, the DuPont's first house, and their Black Powder Museum, genuine black powder demonstrations. It'll be a wonderful trip through historic Delaware hotels, museums, and homes and restaurants. It should be great fun. Costs are going to be around $575 per person for members. $775 if you want to be on a single room. But again, this is a 2-day trip. Travel included, meals included. It is a wonderful, if you're a person that loves just taking short 2 or 3 day trips to get away and you enjoy history, this is something you cannot miss. Well, more events to come, hopefully another blogcast, and I'm sorry for all the ums and stutters. I am not a public speaker. Before I close up, I do have my little historical point I like to bring up. One thing I like to do, I'm going to call it this week or this day, or depending on how detailed I can find the information, this month in local history. This time it might be local history, it might be a little broader, state of New York, covering New York state history. But this particular tidbit has to do with February 1867, when the Knoxville Bridge, now the Bridge Street Bridge, was destroyed by ice flows. Now, this is actually the 3rd time that particular bridge had been destroyed. First time in 1840 and again in 1846. The bridge, when it was rebuilt after the 1867 ice flows destroyed it, was more or less in place until 1887, when, after a special town meeting, the local community basically decided they were tired of rebuilding this wooden bridge. and it was decided to build the first iron bridge, at least the first iron bridge connecting the two halves of Corning, the town of Corning at the time, and the north side, which at the time was actually called Knoxville. Our two sides of the Chemung River were joined for the first time by something other than ferries and fairly rickety wooden bridges. And as for my item of the day, this is something that I discovered while working in the archives, inputting some various items. There's always, some of it's fairly mundane, some of it's fairly interesting. It might be a little difficult to see when I hold this up, but we'll see if we can make it out. This is an architectural drawing, drawn 9th February 1951. This was done by Harrison and Abramoff's architects. It's the architectural rendering, the artist rendering of the entrance for the Corning Glass Works. It's very wonderful. This is not a copy. This is an original drawing that hung on the architect's board. It might be a little... I'm going to try and hold this up so people can see this. If you would like to come here and see this item, it is viewable here in our office. It is wonderful. I love holding the old paper, the original drawings. It is so much different from looking at these pictures in a history book, actually holding the items and examining them. And that's about it. Hopefully, as I get used to doing these, I make these a little more interesting. I stutter a little bit less, and we all have a good time, and I hopefully from time to time tell you something interesting. Again, this is the Corning Painted Post Historical Society at the Heritage Village of the Southern Finger Lakes. We are open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Walk-in tours. You can walk in anytime before 3 p.m. We'll fit you in. A little bit after 3 p.m. if we can, we'll still try to fit you in. You want to call and schedule a tour, you just want to call and see a particular part of our village, that's all fine. We can accommodate all sorts of requests. If you want more info, feel free to look up our website, www.heritagevillagesfl.org, all one word, or give us a call, area code 607-654-7981, and stop on by, explore your local history, and, well, all I can say is dive on in, because I cannot think of a better time sometimes than hanging here. Some people might find that kind of sad. I enjoy it here, and I think if people come here and experience it, you will too. Thank you.